Hi, I'm Andrew, a developer at NoviSystems, and today I'm going to talk to you about the Table Manager in Novi Analytics. The Table Manager is the gateway for all the data entering the system. Once the data is into the system, it's accessible to all the other parts of Novi Analytics, including dashboards, machine learning, natural language processing, and so forth. So here's how you can upload your data into Novi Analytics. We'll start at the table list here, which is accessible under this Data Tables tab on the left bar, and then we'll go up to the New button. So there's many ways to import from Novi Analytics. For example, you can import from another relational database. You can upload your own CSV files. You can crawl the web. You can also import from an API from your own programs. You can upload Excel files. And concatenate tables is a special method that will take existing tables and merge them together. So today we're going to import some CSV files. And the first file I'm going to upload is some example car data showing the MSRP of various models. And I'm going to call this inventory MSRP. And we'll go ahead and import that. So this table has three fields: a SKU, an inventory count, and an MSRP price. If I hit view data here, we can see what it looks like. And like I said, this is just example data for this demonstration. So back on the table detail page, we've got several sections here. The first is table operations with several things you can do on this table, and I'll be going over those in a moment. But I'd like to focus on now on these processing operations. The heart of every data import is the pipeline, and the pipeline takes data from your input source, processes it, and then saves it to a table in the database. We can see here the first row represents the source of the data. In this case, it's an uploaded CSV file. And the last row here is outputting to the database. In the middle, we have several things we can add to transform the data before it's saved. Processing operations are executed from the top down, starting with the source, performing any transformations by the other operations, and finally saving it to the database. So as an example, let's take a look at the cast operation. A cast operation will transform the data types of your fields. Many dashboards and other functionality within Novi Analytics expect certain data types. Every field will have a data type, and you can see those listed here at the bottom of the table detail page. In CSV files, all fields are imported as text initially. But some features elsewhere in Novi Analytics expect numbers, or perhaps dates, timestamps, or even geography points. So this can make a difference, for example, in the ordering of data. If I go back to the table listing, and I sort by inventory, you can see that it's sorted lexicographically instead of numerically. So to fix this, let's go back here and let's add a new cast. On this page, we have a selection for each field in the table, and let's change inventory to an integer. And let's change MSRP to a floating point or a decimal number. When I hit cast fields, the pipeline will be reprocessed, and you can see here a new row has been added to this processing operations list where it's casting these two fields to their respective types. Now if I click refresh on this page, you can see the types at the bottom here have changed. And if I go to view data and I sort by inventory, they're properly sorted by numeric value. So this is important when you want to analyze your data, for example, in the dashboards, and one of the widgets requires a numeric value or a date value. We'll go over more details of how dashboards work and how the widgets will interpret the data in another video. Back on the table detail page, if you want to remove an operation, there is a button over on the right. And you can remove an operation. The pipeline will be reprocessed, and the data reverts back to text because that's what it was originally. The next operation I'll explain are indexes. A database index is a way to optimize queries and access to that field. This can matter in a lot of cases elsewhere in Novi Analytics, such as if you're searching on a field or creating a relation on a field. In general, you'll want to create a B-tree index on any categorical data that you're using for searching or filtering, and also any fields that you're using in a relation. A full text index is used for unstructured text that you're going to be searching through with natural language processing or searching with a search widget on the dashboard. Full text index are added automatically when you use them in dictionary searches and natural language processing. So for example, in this data set, I might want to use the SKU field as part of a relation with another table. So I'm going to check the B-tree index flag and hit Update Table. At this point, the pipeline will reprocess and it will add that index to the table. Another operation you can add is the unique constraint. A unique constraint tells the database that every value in that field is unique. And at this point, it's good to think about, what do your rows represent in your table? In this case, let's go back and view the data. And I like to ask the question, what is each row? In this case, each row represents a SKU. So the SKU would be the unique key on this table. So I can go and add a unique constraint to the SKU field and update that. And at this point, the pipeline will reprocess and it will add that constraint in the database. Other tables, it might not be so clear what the unique field is. So let me go and import another table here. I'm going to import CSV, and I'm going to import this CSV file of local products. Once I import this table, I can go to View Data, and I can see that this has a row for each item in your inventory, and the SKU is obviously not unique here. There are many rows for each SKU, and a particular serial number denotes a unique item in your inventory. We also have a location field indicating where that particular item is. So in this case, because the rows represent a particular product and not a SKU, our unique field would actually be the serial number. So let's go and add that unique constraint here. If you try and add a unique constraint on a field that's not unique, then the pipeline will not add the unique constraint and you'll get an error. Let me show you what that looks like. If I were to try and add a unique constraint on SKU, the pipeline would process and it would tell you that the field is not unique. In order to fix this problem, you can go and remove that operation from the pipeline, like so. Sometimes when removing an operation, the pipeline won't automatically reprocess, so you can manually do that by clicking Run Pipeline and upload your data again. And now we've got a working pipeline again, and all the data is imported into the table with the proper constraints. Unique fields also affect relations. If there's a unique constraint on a field, then relations using that field will become foreign keys, and you can access the fields of the related table when you create a dashboard on the other table. We'll go over relations and how they work on dashboards and elsewhere in the system in another video. A relation between two fields where neither of them have a unique constraint is called a many-to-many field. I've shown you how to rerun a pipeline. This also lets you update the table with new data. If you go to Run Pipeline and select a CSV file with updated data and import now, then the table will be updated with your new data. While CSV files have to be uploaded manually if you want to update the data, other sources can update automatically. For example, database sources, where you import from another relational database, you can schedule imports to happen either daily or on a weekly schedule. So let me show you how to do that now. Start by going to Database Connections, and we can create a new data source here. I'm going to be importing from a Postgres database. I'm going to point the hostname to our database server. The port number is default. Username, if you have a password, you enter it here, and the database name, in this case, is my name. You can test the database connection with this button to make sure the system will connect correctly. And now we can go to the data tables list, click New, click Database Import. We'll choose this source that I just created. It will list the tables in the database, and let's import the inventory MSRP table from the database this time instead of a CSV file. After it's imported, you can see this new section called Scheduled Imports. If I click the button to schedule automatic imports, we can set a schedule type, either daily or weekly. If I want a daily schedule, every day at midnight, then I just enter that and hit save. Now, every morning at midnight, the data will automatically be updated from the upstream database. Now let's talk about some of these table operations up above. The relation manager is how we can fuse data together from multiple tables, and we'll be going over that in detail in another video. You've already seen the view data, where you can get a quick look at what's in your database. More detailed looks and data analysis can be done with dashboards, which we'll also be going over in detail in another video. Download data is how you can download the data in CSV format to your own computer. Go to the export page and hit download CSV. Now that file is downloaded and you can use it as you want. For example, you can import it into a spreadsheet. We also have an API here. If you generate an API token, you can write your own programs to automatically pull data out of NoviLens and into your own systems. Back on this page, we have a button to share tables with other projects in the system. Projects are simply a way of segmenting out your tables and your dashboards for organizational purposes, but tables can also be shared between projects. For example, you might have a team that will upload data, but you don't want another team to be able to modify that data. So you can share the table in a read-only fashion with the other projects that the other team has access to. Copy table data is a way of joining data together and creating a new table out of it. This kind of derivative table will also be covered in another video in detail. And row-to-column transform is also a more advanced operation. We'll also go over generated field and key expand operations in the advanced table manager video. So that's how to use the table manager to import your data into Novi Analytics. Again, the table manager is the gateway to every other feature in Novi Analytics. Once you have your data imported into a table, it's useful everywhere else in Novi Analytics, including dashboards, machine learning, and natural language processing. If you're interested in learning more, or if you have any questions, you can email us at info@novi.systems. Thank you.